thing to say is that mobility.
Reach out, touch space.
Looking at the past, how do you feel? Would you change something of your professional career?
No, not a thing. No, why should I? I think the only thing I would change, if I should change something, is I would like to educate people more on the path. You know, when you work that hard and that intensive, I think during the process that you quite often forget to help people on the way up, and I really would like to help people even more. And I'm starting to do that right now. I have a lot of activities going on where I educate people, I help people around the world along the way that I'm also growing myself. And I really would have hoped I would have done that even more when I was younger. But besides that, no. Do you know what? I tend to say, I feel like I live in a dream, and I hope I'll never wake up.
What is the strategy of big companies about new technology as a marketing tool?
Well, I think the most important thing to say is that mobility today is the future. And brands, it's going to be very dependent on mobility in the future to build their brands. I call this theory for contextual branding. And with that I mean sending the right message at the right time to the right audience. And the mobile phone is the only device which is able to do that because it's basically so portable as it is. So let me give you an example. When I was in Japan a couple of years ago, I was walking down the street with my new NTT Docomo phone, and suddenly it was ringing, and it said to me, "Martin, one of your friends is in the area." I looked at the phone and started to look around for hidden cameras, and it says, "Starbucks would like to sponsor your meeting with your friend." So I clicked yes. It gave me a map to the nearest Starbucks. It told me, typically Japanese, that I would be there in 2 minutes and 31 seconds. So I basically went to the Starbucks, and behind the counter my friend was standing there waiting for me, and I showed this display to the person behind the counter, and I got a free cup of coffee. And this is an example of contextual branding, sending the right message to the right audience at the right time. And mobility is going to be the main device making that possible. I don't think the future is going to be about pushing brands down the throat of consumers when they're not in the mood for it. I think it's going to be on a volunteer basis, where basically you're in the mood for receiving the message, and you're open-minded to receive the message, and you're open-minded to prepare yourself to change. And if you do that, first of all, the message and its value is going to increase so much more. And secondly, people are not going to be irritated about it. And mobile phones is going to help that become a reality. So how I'll build a marketing campaign in a perfect world? I think that the first thing I would do is to think differently. I would not use television. I would use online and wireless as the main driver. I would use the consumer as the device to spread the word of mouth around the world. I would, there's so many people who is today spending their time on YouTube, MySpace, Facebook, so forth. And they can help you to spread the word of mouth. And I will really use them. And I'll use the mobile devices and the online communities to make that happen. So in principle, I'll create funny campaigns, small video snippets, 30 seconds long, which are fun, cool, different, provocative. And then I would upload them to my friends and ask them to spread the word of mouth. And that's the way I probably would build a brand, being very provocative, but use the user to spread the word of mouth. And again, the mobile phone device is a critical important device to make that become a reality.
In a real world, how do you imagine such campaign would be?
Well, very simple. The real world, that would be to come up with a lot of ideas, to idea generate, be different, not to follow any one of your competitors. Do not ever follow your competitors. As my dad once said, if you want to get ahead of the leader, don't follow his tracks in the snow. So if you want to get ahead as a mobile phone company, ahead of the leader, don't follow their tracks in the snow. And if, by the way, the viewers of this show want to get ahead of the leader, don't follow the tracks in the snow. Do something totally different. And the way I would do that is to learn from companies which are very different. I would seek inspiration from, from fields which are very, very different, and make that become the driver. So if you're a mobile phone company, don't learn from mobile phone companies. Learn from the car industry. Learn from Walt Disney. Learn from Cirque du Soleil. Learn from Google. If you happen to be a clothing company, learn from the perfume industry about how they're doing the packaging design. Learn from other people, but don't learn from the competitors. That's the way I will do it right.
Pairing a publicity campaign made using new technologies with another one made using traditional means, which one would have a higher impact?
Medias. Internet, computer gaming, SMS messaging, mobile phone communication, all of this. That's the untraditional path. That works much better than traditional communication.
Do you consider technological means as positive?
I'm a huge believer in it, and I believe that if you master it right, you have an enormous future. The reality today is that people are so afraid of being different. They're so afraid of standing out, and so afraid of making decisions which are unconventional. And that's the reason why so many brands are failing, or so many brands are spending far too many money on making their message come across. So technology today can make that happen. I'm a huge fan of that, and I really believe that is the path. So it's very simple. Yes, go ahead with it. Spend your time on finding out untraditional ways of using untraditional medias, and then you'll get a very untraditional message across, which people will never forget. And that's the point, right?